real special guest, Tas Hassan. Did you know that we have a very, very experienced commercial property loan origination guru here at vastsolutionsgroup.com? Well, if you didn't know it, now you do. Tas, thanks for coming aboard. I'm so excited, not only because you're here just today, but also to really expand commercial property finance in so many ways. Thanks for being here.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me. Really excited to work with you.
Well, that's good stuff. But actually, today we're not really only talking about us working together. We're going to we're going to add value to the audience. The audience, mainly, entrepreneurs, usually people who are real estate investors. Most of them are commercial property, investors who have, pretty high net worth. Some of them have, a net worth is, maybe let's just say around 5-10 million, all the way up to, some really wealthy people. So let's kind of keep remembering that fact, and then let's somehow add value to them, because that's what they want to do, is walk away from this either call or this 30 minutes getting value, so we can enrich their life and they can enrich their life. Make sense?
Makes sense. Sounds good.
All right. So, Tas, you're a New York guy. Go ahead and tell me a little bit about your background. I think people will really enjoy it because it's a very, very unique background. Go ahead.
Yep, sounds good. So I've spent the vast majority of my career at JPMorgan. So I started as a freshman in college, was fortunate enough to get a scholarship for them to pay for school. So I interned for them for all 4 years while I was in college, and then spent the next 18 years or so working full time. So JPM lifer, went from intern, analyst, associate, vice president, executive director, and a credit executive for large multinational companies where I did debt underwriting. I was basically the credit executive, writing the credit agreement, executing those to allow companies to borrow, hundreds of millions to $1 billion sometimes, that we would syndicate out to other large banks.
Are you serious? You really did loans for $1 billion?
$1 billion plus, yep. We're talking about leveraged buyouts for corporations that went private. That's companies like KKR would take, a company public to private, do some changes, improve the efficiencies, and take them out public again and make the returns from that transaction.
Would it be correct to say if you know how to do a $1 billion loan, you know how to do a $10 million loan?
Yep. I treat every loan the same, right? You can't weed out the smaller deals. I treat the same, each deal with the same amount of attention and diligence. So yes.
Wow, I didn't even know you did $1 billion. That's pretty impressive. I know you had like 400 billion under you in some way globally at JPMorgan. I know
40 billion.
40 billion. I think it's 40 billion. I mean, that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's a real number too.
Yeah, that's a portfolio management number. So we underwrote a deal and we, do portfolio management, make sure it's performing the standard through the life of the deal. So that's what that 40 billion. Usually what happens, you would underwrite a very large deal, let's say $1 billion, but you keep 10% of or less. You syndicate out the rest to other banks.
Wow, dude, and I'm not just saying this. You have a killer background. So let's at the outset. So are you like the first in your family to go to college? I mean, do you have any cool background elements like that?
Well, the first one in the U.S., my dad actually was a big salesperson in Asia. We're originally from Bangladesh, which, believe it or not, is the second biggest apparel exporter next to China. So if you check a lot of your clothing, if you don't see made in China, made in Bangladesh might be the next best thing that you'll notice. So he had a big company exporting business, then decided to come to the States like a lot of, families do for the benefit of their children and their education. So myself and my older brother came with my parents. My dad gave up a lot, honestly. The business here didn't work out as he planned. So I worked my tail off to make sure it was worth his time and efforts. Like my mom kind of went from being a sit at home, wife to like working a lot of jobs just to make things happen. So kind of saw night and day on both sides and work very hard to make sure my parents made the right choice and try to give back to them as much as possible. And also make sure my kids don't go through the same struggles that I did. I have 2 daughters in college in the liberal arts space. So I also have that as my motivation.
Yeah, 2 daughters. That must have meant you had a hard time getting the bathroom, right? Everyone's fighting for the bathroom, right?
Especially after we moved into the new house, yeah. But they take priority. So I wake up earlier and do what I need to do.
I get it. I get it. Yeah, you're a good guy. You really are. I'm excited. I'm glad. This is a great time to spend with you. I love spending, time with you. Every time I chat with you, I learn something more about not only you, but about commercial finance, et cetera. So I'm going to get into some commercial finance stuff. So,
Yeah.
obviously, you've been in it for a while. For the short time or for the while that you've been into it, how have you seen it change? Just in general, the commercial property world, how has it changed?
Yeah, I mean, a lot goes with the rate environment and the market itself. Like right now, we're probably entering a time when, given the rate situation, there might be a lot of distressed properties coming out.
Mhm.
But not to sound like a contrarian, but those are actually a great time to invest, right? Because you're
Mhm.
going to get a lot of distressed properties at low valuations. Then really what the market is down the road is going to be a lot higher. So if we've all heard the expression buy low, invest, sell high. If you're looking at the right opportunity to invest, this would be a great time to do so.
It's kind of funny that people, sadly, people buy high, sell low, right? I mean, it makes no sense, but that's just how it is, right?
Not by choice. Sometimes, I mean, we've all been there from buying at the wrong time in crypto, just holding on to try to get your price back. But it will. There's a lot of things going on that I think if you're patient and have a longer term view, you would understand that this is actually a good time to invest in commercial real estate.
Yeah. And I know if I'm going to invest in real estate, being a contrarian, I want to go with someone who knows their stuff. You've been around for a while. You've been through up and down cycles. And especially if you've managed any, if you've done a whatever $10 million loan all the way to $1 billion loan, I know that I could trust you with my money if I'm trying to get a loan.
Absolutely. Known by my colleagues for being the person to help them get to a yes. I never said no in an underwrite. It was kind of like yes, subject to, but always fair, always honest, making sure everybody gets the right deal out of it.
Yeah, yeah, I love it. I love it. So, okay, what about technology? Because obviously, here we're at vastsolutionsgroup.com. We're really into technology. That's a big element to what we do. We've brought technology to, tax, technology to finance, and now obviously we're bringing it to commercial finance, commercial property finance. So, what are your thoughts about technology as it relates to that space?
I think technology is a great platform that people should buy in on. Automation, AI. I took a certification course in Yale School of Management on data analytics, right? So I initially thought human gut feeling intellect would prevail, but the
Mm,
program really taught me that, you know, you really have to go with modeling to get an objective answer to something that you might mess up subjectively. So I'm a big believer in efficiencies through automation and AI, right? It's
mm,
not going to make the ultimate decision that a human would, right? But you need all of that to give you the data, give you the trends, kind of extract this level of information to the main points so people like you and I and key investors can make a good decision based on key data points. So I love technology. I have an engineering background from back in the day. So big believer. By definition, it is always going to be changing. So it's a field that we
mm.
should always latch onto and try to get us smart into it as much as possible.
Yeah, you just threw in you're an engineer by background. What do you mean? I didn't know that. Your background, again, every time I talk to you, I learn something more. What do you mean you have an engineering background?
Yeah, so I actually, in my high school, was the salutatorian for the computer and engineering program.
Mm,
So this was before college where I changed it to accounting. I liked engineering. Engineers are known for solving problems. That's really what I was into.
hmm.
Take a problem, try to find out the best solution to try to solve the problem. So I have that mentality there, and I've kind of threw that into accounting, which was too objective, too by the book. So I worked more in finance at JPMorgan.
Hmm.
And now, as an entrepreneur working with you and others in the commercial real estate space, I'm trying to still take that problem solving to meet clients' needs and come up with the best solution for them. So one thing we should bring out is that I'm working in a brokerage as well as a salesperson. So have a lot of inventory of potential deals to come help you guys and other people that want some assistance.
Yeah, explain that. So, can you only work in New? No, explain what you mean by at a brokerage. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I work at Griner Malts. I would get my sales license in New York, so independently I could work on New York properties only, but our colleagues work in Jersey and other areas, so I can bring them the deals and still meet the client's needs. So what a broker does is basically we don't hold the properties. What we're doing is helping an investor buy properties and
Hmm.
helping a business owner sell their properties and their business if they don't want that. Along with that, I would help the business owner with valuation, marketing, and other ancillary businesses. Vast Solutions is bringing a key aspect of the picture that we were missing before, which is financing. So I'll be the internal finance guy for Griner Malts, along with my own deals that I source for friends and family and other investors as well.
Hmm. Obviously, thanks for that. That was very helpful. So obviously, you being a managing director here at vastsolutionsgroup.com on the commercial property finance side, I mean, that's a big role. You're going to be, we don't have like managing directors all over the place. So that means you're a big time guy for us, and you're going to, help lead the direction of commercial property finance unit. So what are your thoughts going forward? What do you see for that division, for that unit going forward?
Yeah, I'd love to grow that out in New York. I'd like to bring a lot of the people I've interacted with through my time. Something else that I do is career coaching as a aside, right? So I've done that for free pro bono pretty much most of my life.
What a nice guy.
Um, yeah, now as I left JPMorgan, I'm starting to actually charge for that. But I've built so many great relationships with young people that see me as a mentor now, even after we stopped doing kind of like objective coaching. So have those people in mind, super brilliant folks that I want to bring on board. And given the tough job market, there are companies letting go of a lot of great individuals that have so much brain capital and great skill sets that I want to bring in under this team here and grow the business.
Love it. Yeah, that's what we need. We want to help as many people as possible.
That's
So
what it's all
growing the
about.
business.
Hmm.
All right, so let's kind of dive into a little bit more, if you don't mind, commercial property and kind of the world. So, as I understand, I mean, I know you've obviously seen a lot of stuff over the 19 plus years you've been in JP Morgan. So, what's kind of one case study where you've completely helped a client who was whatever struggling to get finance, where you basically came in with the cape and became a hero?
Yeah, I guess the most distressed scenarios are when a company is about to go into bankruptcy, right? They have no other out. They have to work with the courts and all of their lenders to make sure that they can survive through the bankruptcy liquidation stage and come out strong. So the way bankruptcy works, it's not meant to completely shut off the company. It's meant to have close supervision to make sure everybody gets as much on the dollar as they can, and then they come around that situation and they come out better for it. So,
Mhm.
as a bank, without giving up too much of the details, I can't go into specifics, but we're talking about a lawsuit given faulty products that they were putting into an automobile, right? That
Mhm.
had to force them to go into bankruptcy. So no other banks were trying to deal with them. They still needed their working capital funds, right, to continue to do business. So we work with these types of companies very closely. We work with our bankruptcy folks, our legal folks, to make sure we weren't causing more distress on them than they needed, and we were there through the thick and thin because these companies, it happens, right? You have so many market crashes, and a lot of the big names have gone through these and they've come out stronger for it, right?
Mhm.
So you want to keep that relationship. So I try very hard to make sure we can do everything for them in a diligent manner. Like we have to be protected. So whether it's terms like cash collateral with a good cushion or shorter terms in terms of borrowing periods, we do what we can to make sure that the client gets what they need, and as a firm we're also protected. So many situations such as that where no other banks wanted to help them, we came up with unique structures that made it work for us and them, and
Mhm.
everybody came out of it clean slate.
That seems pretty good. I mean, yeah. Coming in with a cape on, that's exactly what you did there, right? Cleaned it up and made it so it worked out in the end.
Absolutely, that's the goal. Everybody's got to win.
Yep, yep, yep. So now let's shift gears to, let's just assume you're out there talking to someone who's thinking about becoming a commercial property loan originated person. Let's say someone's making $200,000 as a realtor at Sotheby's, as an example, and they want to get into the commercial space and provide loans. What are your thoughts about kind of making that transition? Is it a good time? Is it ever a good time? Does it not make sense? What are your thoughts on that generically? And that's a tough question, by the way. I realize that.
Yeah, no, it's fair. I would initially tell them to do what I'm doing, is to keep that job because that's going to give you many leads, and then do the underwriting, loan origination at the same time. Because
Mhm.
there you're going to your client saying, I can provide you with an A to Z solution to help you source deals. And hey, I can also help you finance them, make banks compete to give you the lowest rate possible. And your clients would love you for that.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, that's smart. That's really smart. I think some people are afraid. It's like, is that ever the right time to get pregnant? Is it ever the right time to get married? I think some people are afraid. I think people think, going down the commercial property loan origination route kind of makes sense for a lot of people, but they might be afraid. And I think I like to say here at vastsolutionsgroup.com, we have a good kind of platform for allowing people to do that. But that's the reason I asked that. I mean,
Yeah, the
it's a tough
platform's
question.
great. Yeah, the platform's good. I've taken a look at it, and I think it's very user friendly, very intuitive, and makes things quite efficient and run effectively.
And speaking of platforms, like, why is it? This is a weird question. Why is it that commercial property loan world is so backwards? I mean, people are still using paper, and I mean, that's not far fetched for me to say that they're still using paper, and you have to go to one or two banks. You hear a no from one bank, you hear a yes, and then but you don't like the rate, so you have to go to another one. Why is it that commercial property financing is in the Stone Ages per se?
Well, we're talking big dollars, right? So you're going to have kind of old money, you know, the good old boys club, whatever you want to call it, which is fair, right? So these are the big pockets that are used to doing things a certain way. They're not so much interested in artificial intelligence or competing with or trying to source their deal with many banks, right? They have
Mm-hmm.
relationship banks that have stuck with them through thick and thin. And what we're doing is bringing them efficiencies and saying, hey, I know you have a great relationship with this bank. We can still use that bank for a quote, but let us show you. You would be doing yourself a disservice by not seeing what these other banks can do for you.
I can
So,
appreciate someone having a relationship. I get that. I totally get that. But
mm,
I think at the same time, you can augment that relationship. Let's just say someone, your buddy will give you, making up a number, 7% rate. You get a 7% rate, great. But all of a sudden, let's just say because of technology, you can end up talking to a whole number of banks. Let's say instead of one bank, you're talking to whatever, 20 banks as an example, and you end up with a pretend 5% rate. Well, sure. Then the question is, how much are you going to pay for that relationship? And, but then again, on the flip side of that, well, maybe, who knows, maybe because you have that relationship, you potentially could lower the rate even more. But at least, having, you get your cake and eat it too. You get two different options: one, the relationship; two, maybe technology. And I like that. I like getting, again, cake and eating it too. I like having two options or more than one option.
yeah, and like you said, if nothing else, you take your relationship bank and keep them honest, right? Like if they're telling you 7% is a great deal and you're showing them everybody else is giving me 6 or 5, put your money where your mouth is and come
Mm.
down to earth, right? So,
I do agree with that. I do agree with that. And I think going forward, I think, like, I mentioned before, I mean, technology, I think we've used technology to help us lower taxes for, entrepreneurial clients.
mhm.
We've used technology to help, better our clients as far as finances and retirement. And I think, again, it's kind of the next step in using technology for commercial properties. I'm so excited to go down that road. So many times over the years, I'm embarrassed to say this, people would come to us and say, hey, we need money for finance. We need money for real estate because all our clients are real estate investors. And for whatever reason, we just kept saying no. But now we're going down that road and it's going to be huge. I mean, we're helping so many more people. It's unbelievable.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of opportunities, so this is the perfect time.
I would agree. So, we only have, let's say, 5 minutes. So let me ask you a few more questions.
Sure.
What's kind of a takeaway that, let's just say, a real estate investor should have from working with you in general? Because it'd be great if you could just kind of point to one thing. I'm sure there's many, but what's the one big thing you add value to a potential borrower?
I think it's the experience at JPMorgan to make me know, the ins and outs of underwriting, all the market dynamics, what could go wrong through my experience I've kind of learned from and will help those investors avoid those pitfalls.
Hmm.
So you get a lot from the experience, the diligence, the track record. So you're getting a lot of positives through
Hmm.
working with myself here.
Well, any negatives?
No, I don't think
There
so.
you go.
I
Um,
work too hard.
yeah, you do work hard. You're a grinder. You're a New York City grinder. You know what I mean?
You gotta stay hungry, man. And regardless of what life brings you, you gotta approach it with the same attitude, which is you gotta get it done, gotta work hard. Nothing is handed to you. So, a lot of successful entrepreneurs say it doesn't matter how well you do, always pretend you're broke and keep hustling and grinding.
Hmm. I think that, yeah, I think one thing we didn't touch on, I think you being in New York, even though people are moving outside, maybe might be moving outside of, the city.
Hmm.
I don't know if that's really true, come to think of it. I think because you're in the kind of money center in New York, I think you hear about other stuff that a lot of other people wouldn't know about, or you might be able to get some better rates, I think, just because you're in New York City. I mean, that's clearly the money center of the world, you know?
Yeah, I have a large network of investors and financial institutions that I can also go with and try to bring in the relationship aspect I had with them because I was the underwriter and my other role was the control manager for every type of company. So I have the relationship bankers from my old company. I have client contacts at the financial institution, so I can try to get the best rates from that perspective as well.
What do you mean? Expand on that. That seems pretty cool. What do you mean?
So my clients were financial institutions that are
Mm.
giving us quotes. So given I had that experience and relationship with them, might help the negotiation process if we're stuck a little bit, if that makes sense.
Oh my gosh, that's really big. I didn't realize that. I guess you did mention that. It didn't go into my hard head. That does make a lot of sense. That will help you out in the marketplace, won't it?
Yep, absolutely. I mean, there's a fiduciary duty and you have to keep things at arm's length, but if there is any wiggle room, the relationship that I have will help.
Here's a question: Do you feel as though you do have fiduciary duty when you're working with whatever a client who has whatever $50 million
Always.
in assets?
Always. The client's objectives is primary over my own profit and
Hmm.
loss statement. They're the key and the focus always. I'd rather do the right thing and say not, transact if it's not in the best interest for the client. I'd rather be patient and hold out. And I would give that true and honest advice.
Hmm. I like that. Fiduciary. I mean, that's huge right there. I mean, that's enough said right there.
Hmm.
All right, let's land this plane. What else? How about kind of in closing? What's another takeaway that an entrepreneur, again with whatever, pretty good net worth. What's another takeaway that they should have from listening to this or watching this that they can, you could put some more money in their pocket.
Well, for new entrepreneurs, I would say keep keep going. It's not an overnight process, especially if you're switching from a more corporate job with a stable paycheck.
Mm,
It's not the same, but success will come. You have to be patient, give it a go. 6 months or more. You're lucky you'll get there earlier, as I'm sure some people will.
mm-hmm,
Learn from your mistakes. Better to learn from other people's mistakes. So have your mentors and try to avoid the pitfalls that they've learned from, and just keep going. There's a when with every quote unquote failure, there's a teaching moment and learning. So so long as you're not making the same mistakes twice, you're winning.
yeah. The way I look at it, there's no failing if you're learning. That's the way I look at it.
Exactly.
Yeah. How does someone get a hold of you? Let's say someone wants to email you. What is it? Taz@vastsolutionsgroup.com.
That is correct. Yep. Tas, TAS at vastsolutionsgroup.com. VAST Solutions Group. Just got my business card. I just want to
Woo!
make sure if there's an ink in there or not. Nope. At vastsolutionsgroup.com.
Awesome, awesome. And then I guess, and how does someone get a hold of you via phone? What's your phone number?
718-810-6749.
One more time. What was that?
718-810-6749.
You're the man, Taz. I'm excited. This is going to be huge. I know I'm jealously guarding the fact that we have you, but really it's going to end up helping the industry. I know That sounds like it's overreaching, but I really believe that. I think having you on board, because we're going to be pushing the envelope as far as technology goes, and as far as kind of some of the as far as the commercial property world goes, I think that it's going to be a big thing, not only for us, not only for some of our investors, but also, I know it sounds crazy, but also the industry. I think there's going to be some huge things that are going to be unearthed by having you as part of the team. I'm really excited.
Likewise, I mean, there's things we haven't talked about that might be a mid to longer term strategy, such as blockchain in the real estate game. But I think that's where the future is at. So
I 100%. I started blockchain investing in 2010, and it was hard to get invested in blockchain back then. A lot harder than it is even now. And man, I can tell you that I still believe in it. I know, it goes up and down for the investors. It's sometimes scary, but I believe going forward somehow, some way, blockchain is going to be a very, very utilized thing, much more utilized than it is almost commonplace versus what it is now. Number one. Then number two, I think that combined with quantum computing, I think it's going to be, I'm really excited about the future.
Likewise. That's the way to go.
What?
That's definitely where we're heading. That's
I totally agree with that. Yeah. So everyone, thank you very much for spending the time. You've been here for about a half an hour. Hopefully this has helped you. It's added some value to you. Once again, my name's Kenner French. If you have any questions, please get a hold of Taz at his contact information that he mentioned, and or go to our website at vastsolutionsgroup.com. It has really been a pleasure. Please come visit and come watch our other episodes. You'll be happy you did.
All right. Thanks, Kenner. Thanks,
dude. You're the man. I totally appreciate it.
You got it.
All right. So